Hello everyone, it's Alan at P&I Training, and in this episode we're going to look at how the gangs from the 70s and the early 80s transformed into probably the biggest gang in the city.
Yes, and what can I do for you?
The East End and West End lads had a lot of bad blood between them over the years, but they knew that they had to come together on match days if they wanted to take on other teams' mobs. A lot of the big lamp lads would come down to the Magpie Bar for a drink, which was right on the corner of Barrack Road and Pitt Street, just about here. And it was right opposite St James's Park. They would go out on the drink together for long sessions, which are what we know as bender sessions. Lads from the Elsick had started to join them, and they pretty soon became known as the Bender Squad. Lads coming together, going to the match, going out on the drink all day on the bender. Pretty soon lads came from other areas to join them, from Baker, Walker, Wallsend, Kenton, Gosforth, Gateshead, all over the place. Things from the past had been left behind, and they had came together to form Newcastle's first city gang. The focus was now Newcastle United, sticking together and fighting fans from other teams. In the early 1980s, fashion started to change a bit. The Terrace fashions were coming through, and there was a cultural shift. Gone were the pods, Dr. Martens, monkey boots, donkey jackets, and the lads were wearing stuff like Sergio Tacchini, Fila and Lacoste. On their legs they might have a nice pair of peppy jeans or some Farras with a pair of Adidas trim trab or gazelles on their feet. And we saw a load of little dresser gangs popping up all over the place. One in particular that sticks out is the Eldon Square dressers, who used to hang about up the top of the escalators in Eldon Square, and there seemed to be hundreds of them. A lot of these younger lads were getting trains regularly up and down to away matches using the main train line out to Newcastle, which we now know as the East Coast Main Line, and the Newcastle Main Line Express, NME, formed kind of naturally. After the NME, there was another batch of younger ones coming through, some under fives, and there was loads of them. And one of the older lads made an off-the-cuff kind of comment and said, "Look at these, they're all running around like a load of little gremlins." And hence the name stuck, and the gremlins were born. Lads from the gangs all knew each other. There was people in the Bender Squad who knew people in the NME, people in the NME who knew people in the gremlins, and even though they were in different parts of the ground and dotted all over the place, they kind of became loosely one big gang. And when it came down to fighting, with Newcastle United at the middle of it, they would take on the other team's fans. At the time, these individual gangs all had their own names, but as time's gone by, it's the name Gremlins that's stuck. And anybody that's been associated with football violence from 83, 84, 85 onwards has definitely got either links to these people or they know them. Now that's a really simplified version of how the gangs kind of merged into one bigger gang, and there's lots of twists and turns along the way, but the fact remains a lot of the area gangs from the early 70s right through into the early 80s had vanished, and it was replaced with one city gang with the common goal of Newcastle United and upholding the city's reputation. These days the gremlins are at least hundreds strong, and with people who are associated with them and friends and casual kind of people that join in, it could possibly be in the thousands, which makes them the biggest gang that Newcastle City has ever seen. Now I'm not going to tell you any tales about the gremlins or stories or things that they've been getting into, because it's not my place to say them. And I've got a lot of friends that have been involved in these things for 35 and 40 years, and I don't think they'd be very happy if I was running my mouth telling them the kind of stuff that they'd been up to that they don't want people to know. But if you are interested in them, right, there's loads of stuff on the internet there that you can go and find about them. Now in my next video, I'm going to recap everything that we've done so far from the early 70s right through to the middle of the 80s and how the gangs changed. But for now, thanks for checking in, and I'll see you next time.